Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
What's up, guys? My name is Josh, and I run MitsuTimes.org. I thought it would be best to start off this podcast series with an episode about why I created MitsuTimes in the first place and what the website is all about. I also want to start off by saying this is the only episode where I won't have at least one guest on here. I know this episode will be a little boring, but trust me, we have some really exciting episodes planned in the future. If you have not been into Mitsubishi cars for very long, there was once a website called dsmtimes.org. DSM Times recorded DSM, Evo, Galant VR4, StarQuest, and that was about it. If you owned a Rally Art or a 3G Eclipse, oh well. You had to rely on keeping track of times in the forums dedicated to your own platform. To me, this wasn't good enough. I always wondered what the quickest 3000 GT platform was and who owned it, and what kind of times it was running. There were a few 3S owners on DSM Tuners forum, but there wasn't a whole lot. All these niche forums made the community feel so separated. However, DSM Times served a purpose in the community. It was a bragging leaderboard, referenced many times on the DSM Tuners forum. We could also see what it would take to run a certain time if that time was your goal. It kept track of who held records such as 14B, front-wheel drive, etc. After the domain itself was gone, we could no longer see the data. There was a huge hole left in the community. I saw many posts on Facebook asking when DSM Times would return or that someone needed to bring it back. I, unlike a lot of DSM owners, have a love for all Mitsubishis. Together, my wife and I have owned nearly 40 at this point. I daily drive a 93 Diamante wagon. I also have a 5th Gen Mirage that we are in the process of 6G75 swapping, and I have a 2G DSM. This is why I wanted MitsuTimes to be different. That's why I started with a name change. MitsuTimes encompassed all Mitsubishi cars. Originally, it was an app. In my mind, that made more sense than a website. It didn't really work. Adding a car took about 30 minutes per car, and viewing the list was not very user-friendly. I switched it to a website after it lived as an app for a few months. Originally, there were about 5 categories, and it focused only on drag racing. And now we are up to over 30 categories in the drag racing list alone. And we now have circuit racing and rally racing. The website is broken down into 8 different pages. The home page has logos of all of our sponsors. If you click on the logos, it'll take you to their webpage. The home page has links to all of our social media sites, as well as a little about us. The store is the next page. We sell stickers, t-shirts, and hoodies for all 13 of our logos. In the store is also items that allows you to purchase a version of our logo with your car in it. We get some pictures of your car and send it off to an artist, and he creates the logo. The next page is called Support Our Sponsors. It gives our sponsors an opportunity to showcase some of their products and services. On some of the items, the prices are at a discounted rate as a way of saying thank you for using the MitsuTimes site. Next, we get into our racing categories. First up is the NRG Ops Circuit Racing category. The times are listed by track. Click on the track and you can see who did what time, with what platform, and on what course layout. Our most popular page is the drag racing category. Here, quarter-mile time records are broken down into categories. There are nearly 1,000 cars making up these lists. The current categories are the Haltech Top 20 list, Carbonetics Carbon Fiber Overall list, the Morrison Fabrication All-Wheel Drive list, Kigley Racing Front-Wheel Drive list, the AS Custom Keys Rear-Wheel Drive list, Performance Part Out 1G list, Just a Tune 2G list, Sport Compact Warehouse 3G list, Speed Farm 4G list, the Bean Fab Evo 4 through 9 list, the Exigent Solutions Evo 10 list, the Club Spec Chicago Rally Art list, the 3SX 3S list, Kirkpatrick Auto and Fleet Repair Evo 1 through 3 and CSM list, Boosted Fabrication Galant VR4 list, MKS Motorsport Star Class list, the Chancla Performance 5G Mirage list, the Mitsubishi Owner Club Pickup list, the non-Mitsubishi powered Mitsubishi chassis list, Slow Motion Motorsports 4G63 list, the Throttle and PSI 4B11 list, the ARH Automotive 420A list, the Revenge Performance and Transmission 6G72 list, the Boosted Fabrication 6G75 list, the Darren Thomas Racing Automatic Transmission list, NRG Ops Manual Transmission list, the RP Motorsports Sportronic Shift Transmission or SST transmission list, Cope Performance H Pattern transmission list, the PFB Products All Motor list, Performance Part Out 4-cylinder bolt-on list, Turbo Parts Canada 15G list, and finally the Six Sigma Dyno Tuning 16G list. The last of the racing categories is the Action Clutch Rally Racing page. Like the circuit racing page, these times are broken down by track or rally event. Just click on the track or event and you can see the times ranked, fastest to slowest. The builds page allows you to add your Mitsubishi to our site even if you don't race. Even if you do race, the page allows you to break down your build with incredible detail, as well as to add videos and even more pictures of your car. For any part or service that was made or provided by our sponsor, it creates a link to their page from your build page. The analytics show that the build page is pretty popular, so hopefully we'll get some more cars added in the future. Lastly is the newsletter. We make and send out a newsletter at the end of every month. We have a big email list that you can sign up for. When you first get on the website, there's a pop-up. We also post on the website so that visitors to the site can see what has happened over the previous month. Let's pause for a little ad break to hear an ad from one of our sponsors. This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by 3SX Performance. Since 1999, 3SX Performance has been the world's premier source for everything Mitsubishi 3000 GT and Dodge Stealth. They have proven what they sell by building and tuning their 3SX cars in-house, which at one point held the world record passes in drag racing for the naturally aspirated and twin-turbo front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. Check out their products and services at 3sx.com. I consider myself a custodian of the site. To me, the site belongs to the community. I get the opportunity to work with some of the greatest shops, innovators, and fabricators within the community as the site sponsors. I, by no means, plan to become rich thanks to the website. The money that is earned from the store is kept into our PayPal account so that we can travel to more events and record even more times. Some events that we do plan to attend in the future are the Tokyo Auto Show, and we plan to fly over to Malaysia, try to catch up on some of these diesel-powered Triton Strata trucks that are setting some big times over there. We've been having some trouble getting in contact with somebody who can hook us up with some names, so we're going to head over there and check it out ourselves. I will always be open to changes to the website as long as it benefits the community as a whole. Feel free to message the page with your suggestions for changes or additions to the site. We also have a Facebook group, the MitsuTimes group, where I suggest proposed changes to see how the community feels about it. I want to try to accommodate every suggestion that we get to the page. Some suggestions work and some don't. For a while, we had a forum. A lot of people asked that we had a performance-based forum that had all the platforms on it, and it just never got used. So I ended up deleting it not that long ago. I have big plans for the site. One thing is this podcast, getting the website's name out there, making sure people are aware of our sponsors. That is really the ultimate goal. Besides just interviewing racers, this podcast will also feature some Mitsubishi Motorsports history episodes. I plan to keep these episodes short, between 30 and 45 minutes. I think we've all heard podcasts that go on for hours that you didn't really learn anything or get anything out of it. I think a YouTube channel would be a great addition to show off the cars that are out there and what they're capable of. Myself and my good buddy Ike, we've come up with some pretty good ideas for some videos in the future. A lot of you probably met us at the shootout this year. Ike was the one bringing around the peanut butter whiskey to all the pits. We've known each other for a long time. We were in the Army together. He's not a Mitsu guy yet, but I'm working on trying to convert him. We've thought of flying to like California or something with $500 in our pocket and trying to buy a Mitsubishi and bringing it all the way back to the East Coast. Just some fun stuff like that. Try to get some exposure for the website. That's what we want to see in the future. We do plan to create a MitsuFest event in the future that would incorporate drag racing, autocross, or circuit racing, and hopefully a rally event. The plan for this is to take place in Bowling Green, Kentucky, as it has venues to hold all of these events. For whatever reason, people who do not drive a DSM Evo or Galant VR4 seem to be hesitant to attend the shootout. I wish I could change that, but it probably won't happen. The Mitsu Fest event, is not intended to replace the shootout, but to create another event that brings the community together. If you've ever been to a Honda Days or seen pictures, that is what we're thinking of along the lines. I want to keep this podcast series solely about Mitsubishi cars and leave all the politics, drama, and all that other crap out of it. To really understand why the website is a labor of love and not just a side project, you need to know why I created it in the first place, why I got here, and why I love Mitsubishi cars as a whole. Firstly, I'm a Mitsubishi purist. I don't call myself a Mitsubishi guy and daily drive a Subaru or a Honda or anything like that. I was about 10 years old. My dad really wanted to pre-order the new Dodge Durango when it came out. Sometime in 1997, we went into our local Dodge dealership so that he could take a look at the options list. In the showroom, there was a pristine blue Dodge Stealth RT Twin Turbo. The hood was opened, and when I looked inside on the valve cover, I seen Mitsubishi. I remember going home and getting on AOL or whatever it was and researching Mitsubishi. And I learned that they make everything from TVs to tanks to airplanes to sports cars. I knew that I wanted to own a product of this company. The first car that I ever had was an 88 S10. I quickly traded that for a 99 Eclipse RS. In the community that I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, either you were fast or you were nothing. I saved up and dumped my 428 for a 95 Talon TSI all-wheel drive from a guy that I worked with. It had a bullseye housing and an HX35 on it, tuned with a SAFC. It felt like a rocket ship compared to what I had before, and I was hooked. Since that Talon all-wheel drive, we've owned a 95 Diamante sedan, a 3G 2002, it was an RS. We had a 99 Eclipse Spider GS, a 03 Montero Sport, a 91 Mighty Max, which we end up 4G63 swapping in North Carolina, a 94 GST, a 96 GSX, a 97 Spider GST, 96 Eagle Talon TSI all-wheel drive, another one. We've had a 2015 Outlander Sport, my wife's 2015 Mirage Pink. You've probably seen it at the Mitsubishi owners meet if you was there. We had a pair of Eagle Summits or Expos. We had a 92 front-wheel drive, a 91 all-wheel drive. We had another 96 Eclipse GSX, 06 Raider, 93 3000 GT SL, my current 93 Diamante Wagon, 97 Spider GS that we had for a little bit, and we just bought a 2008 Fuso box truck that we plan to turn into a camper that we can take to events. We're going to have it wrapped with the MitsuTimes artwork, and down at the bottom, about eye level, you'll see QR codes. Go straight to our sponsors' websites, make it a little bit easier. But that's enough about me. Go check out the site if you haven't already. Follow our Instagram and Facebook page. Stand by for future episodes and send us suggestions for future episodes.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.